Fighting Angels is an arcade-styled fighting combat game that was released for the PlayStation 2 in 2004, and this game would also be released in Japan under the Simple 2000 series, under the name Volume 55, that would have been called The Cat Fight, which is crazy because again a lot of the names for these games just had some very wacky names in Japan. But this game, compared to other fighting games out there, would feature an all-female cast of fighters rather than your typical more mainstream fighters where it had a mixed selection of both female and male characters to use in the games. But one of the main elements of this game that I suppose is the most appealing aspect is that with the female characters, as they fight, they're all wearing more so bikinis, and they're wearing pretty much very little, let's just put it that way. And there's certain elements in the game, I'm not going to really say too much, but you notice by looking at it that yeah, it can be very difficult to stay focused on what you're actually doing. There's a lot of distractions in this game, let's just put it this way. Anyone that's playing this game isn't necessarily playing the game for the fighting, let's just put it that way. It does have some unique elements, but how would it compare when you look at other fighters on the system? While this game is definitely not up to scratch when you look at more mainstream fighters and more iconic fighting games on the system, yes, it does have a vast array of movesets, and each character has their own attributes and abilities, but the gameplay is quite lacking. And the fact is that the camera perspective, because the game is fully in 3D, sometimes the camera can be quite off-putting and even at times quite wonky, leaving you to not really know where your character is, especially when you're moving around the screen, and sometimes it takes a while for the camera to pick up where your character is. That can cause a lot of confusion, so you're not really sure of exactly where you're supposed to be or how to interact or even fight the other opponents. But like I said, in most cases you won't really be fighting in the game, you'll be just too distracted to do anything else. Like, it is simplistic in its nature, and the reality is you can complete the game very quickly. There's only a selection of fights throughout each tournament that you get involved with, and you'll have them pretty much wrapped up very quickly, and you'll find that you'll just have to pretty much spam the same type of moves over and over again to defeat your opponents. As the control system itself, even with regards to the moves, it can be quite clunky and quite limited in terms of what's presented, especially when you look at more mainstream fighters. When you look at the likes of Tekken, Street Fighter and more popular fighting games, they definitely have much more to offer in terms of the combat dynamics. This game definitely falls short of it, and this game here would be more of a budget kind of line of games, but it seems that the focus on this game wasn't primarily about the gameplay, more so on the visual elements. But you'll make that up as you go along and you'll see for yourself. I'll leave that as it is pretty much there, because that's all there really is to explain about this game. Anyone that wants to play this wouldn't be playing it for its fighting elements, that's for sure. But regardless, I would love to know your thoughts of Fighting Angels for the PS2, if you have played it yourself, and if so, what did you think of it back in the day? So be sure to share it down in the comments below, and if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be updated with future videos. And if you would like to see more content around other types of fighting games also released on the PS2, then you can check out the playlist on screen to see more of those games in action, and I will see you all in the next one.